Hey, what's up everyone? So in today's video, we're going to learn how to forecast the value of comparative content. Comparative content being stuff like this. So Hotjar versus full story, let's say that's a good keyword to target. If you're something like Hotjar, right, like an up and comer in this industry, we made this article for them. So, when people click on this article, let's go. There we go. We then introduce their tool and, redirect some product demand over from Hotjar and full story to session stack. Essentially, that's what's up. So how do we forecast the value of comparative content like this? Well, let's discuss it. Now, first, why is this important? Well, because there's lots of strategies that you can invest in as a business, as a company, right? So it's important to know, like, okay, what's the rough ROI timeline that I can expect with this strategy versus other strategies? Okay, right? So why can we like predict the value of this type of comparative content is because we have worked with a lot of SaaS companies in the last 4 years. We have worked with like B2B, B2C startups, enterprise companies that have many, many features, right? So this works for all of them, right? And it also doesn't matter if you optimize for a free trial signup or for a demo call. Like we have data, for a free trial signup, you will usually get between 5 and 12% of people signing up. For demo call, between 1 and 2% of people will let hit up your phone. This does depend. So the front end conversion rate does depend on like the niche and the positioning that you pick. If you, of course, if you are more niche, more narrow positioning and messaging, you will get fewer free trial signups and fewer demo calls, but they will be higher quality and more qualified, basically, by your solution. So the thing that I like to look at is actually the backend metric, because for some reason, like there's this I suppose it's this magical number, is that it doesn't matter like what's your whether you have a free trial sign up on the front end or a demo call, or if your positioning is broad or niche, like it somehow ends up being that you will get one paying user every 300 to 350 clicks. It's just how it is. Like I see this with every client that we work with. Okay, so here's an example. This was a pretty small project that we did. So we got like 1,400 sessions. Yeah, that's right. And we got 4 paying users. And so that's like one paying user for 340 sessions, like something like that. There we go. So what do we need to project the value? Essentially, we need the keyword search volume of the keywords that we're targeting. And this is something that we can provide for you on our first call. We can discuss this. And we also need your offer economics, of course, right? Now, we don't like taking the LTV because for a subscription based business, LTV doesn't really make any sense, right? Like, sure, you can say some companies then kind of say, yeah, so we calculate LTV based on like the past 3 years essentially. But still, even that doesn't make sense because, let's say so today is June 2024. You might say, okay, so everyone who has become my subscriber, my user in June 2021, to this date, like I can now calculate how many people have churned, and that's like my, can calculate my churn from there, and I can kind of like see my LTV as well. Okay, well, fine, but like people that have signed up like 3 years ago, they signed up for a fundamentally different tool, right? Because your positioning was probably different, your tool was fundamentally different, right? So they are not a good representation of like what you can do right now, essentially, right? Of who you can attract and what kind of prices you can command, right? So what I prefer to do is just take average revenue per paying user and churn both of these monthly. And specifically, if you can only like filter out like your ideal customers for this analysis, that would be the most accurate picture of like what you can achieve right now with the current state of your SaaS and positioning and marketing and so on. Okay, so once we have all that, I have this nifty calculator ready. It's also going to be a link in the video description, so you can make a copy and play with the numbers yourself. Okay, so the important shit over here is the value simulator. Here we are. And here you basically punch in your monthly churn and your monthly average revenue per paying user right here. And here you punch in your search volume of the particular keyword or multiple keywords. Doesn't really matter for the particular campaign. So you get the search volume from something like Ahrefs, I don't know, let's just type in 500 for now, something like that. And then using the metric over here, so one paying user every 350 clicks, I'm using 350 to be a bit more conservative in this estimation. We can then calculate how many paying monthly users you will get each month. So in this case, you will get 1 to 2 paying users on average every month. And if your monthly average earn per paying user is $75, that's how much you will get. This is your MRR increase over time, essentially. And your total revenue is essentially just the sum of the MRRs. There we go. Now, how we calculate the MRR. So MRR, of course, tapers off because we have churn. And how this works in the backend is essentially like this. So month one, we essentially check or take the users that have signed up for our platform on month one, the average. So that would be 1.43 in this case. And then we basically pull this thread, right? So month two will then with 5% churn, these users will only be worth like $102 or contribute to the MRR and so on, right? And over time, they will of course taper off. But next month, we will again get a new batch of users. So that's another thread that we start and another thread and another thread and so on. So the MRR is essentially the sum of all the lines right here. Right? So that's the MRR. Very straightforward. So now that's the simulation. That's the simulation if we assume that we will get, essentially if we assume that the tools, so like Ahrefs and SEMrush, are 100% correct. And that we will get like in terms of their search volume that they estimate for a given keyword. And if we also assume that we will get all the clicks. So what I have over here in the ROI calculator sheet, I have this estimation accuracy header, I suppose, right? Where we can basically say, okay, so we take this one. This is essentially just copied over from this column. But then the rest are like, okay, so this is if we get 100% of the clicks, like we capture all the search volume, okay? But sometimes it happens that Ahrefs and SEMrush severely underestimate how much search volume a particular keyword has, especially if the particular keyword has, search volume of less than 100, for example, because that is something that Ahrefs really does not consider. They can't really crawl all that well, neither SEMrush or Ahrefs or any of these tools. So they severely underestimate those search volumes. Sure, for higher search volumes like 500, 1,000, this is way more accurate. But for lower volumes, it's just sometimes 10 times, 10 times an underestimation. There we go, right? So here I have, okay, like what if we capture 100% of the clicks? What if we capture 300% of the clicks? And then what if we can capture 50% of the clicks or 10% of the clicks? So these are all like possible outcomes that can happen to you if you make this investment in the particular project, okay? And then the legend over here, so the yellow, these are cells, right? Which basically where you have the ROI still less than 1. And then white is ROI between 1 and 3x. Green is between, so light green is between 3 and 10x. And darker green is 10x ROI. There you go. So that's what will happen. Now, of course, because of the nature of the MRR and the ramp up time, all the biggest benefits will come like year 2, year 3, right? That's when we really hit the stride with the MRR. That's just how SEO goes. So there we go. That's it. This is how, this is the ROI calculator. And this is how we can predict, forecast the value of a comparative content marketing campaign. Now, this specifically only works for comparative content because we have the data. I don't really have data for educational content. At least not so robust that I would be able to, put my hand in the fire for it, so to say. Okay. So that's it. Grab this ROI calculator in the video description. And if you need any help, let me know. Oh, perhaps one more thing, like how do you get the volumes of the for the search volumes for the keywords? Very, very easily. If you want to estimate this yourself, so just go to Ahrefs and just type in like your top 10 competitors, for example, HubSpot. I don't know what else. I don't know, Salesforce, stuff like that. Then go to matching terms, include versus, and word count 3, show results. And these are all very, very good comparison keywords, right? HubSpot versus Salesforce, Salesforce versus HubSpot. You would merge the search volumes for these together because they are mirrored keywords. One comparison would rank for both of these. So that's it. That's how we get the search volumes. And this is how I then predict the value. Yeah, that's it. Okay. If you need any help doing this type of keyword strategy, we can do that on our first call. Link also in the description. Okay, I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Uh, Thanks for watching and take care.